Okay, so thank you very much for agreeing to this. It's very nice to meet you in virtually.
Yeah.
And I can, for our viewers that have the chance to meet you, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Hi, Federico. Thank you. My name is Pedro J. Molina. I started working in conceptual modeling in 1996 at the Technical University of Valencia in Spain. At that time, I was researching in models for business application, specifically on the UI. And after that, we created a spin-off company, and we moved to Denia, also in Spain. So we implemented our ideas, and this company was called Care Technologies. I was working there for 5 years, and in the main product there was called Oliva Nova Model Execution. At that time, I finished my PhD working on specification and code generation for user interfaces in business application. And after that period, I joined Capgemini in Valencia, working mainly for banks and the main supermarket retail in Spain that is called Mercadona. For the bank, we created a project called PISA that was related to a migration using model driven. We did reverse engineering and also with models, and we present this in the code generation conference that Mark Dargarno was hosting in Cambridge every year at that time. I joined the program committee and then joined the code generation for every year. It was a lovely place to meet all the community working in code generation, DSLs, and especially people from the industry. So we know all the guys doing things in .NET, Java, and different approaches to build DSL. That was lovely. Well, in that conference also, I meet the guys from iCinetic. It's another company set up on Seville, dedicated also to code generation. And I decided to move to Seville, working as a chief research officer and later on CTO. We grow a product called Radar C. That this product was a code generator built on top of Visual Studio as a plugin using DSL tools and T4 templates and all this .NET technology. And after that, we also decided to move the focus to low-code platforms and end users, and we created a product for Microsoft Corporation. We created the project Windows Phone App Studio. That was a very good success for Microsoft. And I was also living in Seattle for 4 months at that time. Later on also, we created BLAP. It was another mobile app builder with native code generation for iOS and Android. And the last product I built for iCinetic was HiPod. I will give you the links for the people to try. Yeah. HiPod is an app builder oriented to model microservices, but also with automatic cloud deployment and provisioning in Amazon, Heroku, and so on. Finally, in the last 2 years, I set up on my own. I created Metadev, my company, and I'm focused on creating products to provide products based on DSLs and services related to domain-specific languages. As you can see, in the last 20 years, I was keeping myself trying to keep working on modeling, DSLs, code generation, because I really love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of different experience, and one of my regret, and I wasn't able to attend the code generation conference, but at the time when I was a PhD student, we didn't have much funding to travel, but
I know. Anyway, I think we will have now more choices. I think the community is reuniting again, so we will have chances to meet for sure.
That's great. And I think, you have described all your experience and your interest in domain-specific languages, and I think that probably many have asked you this question, but can you tell us, in your opinion, what are the advantages of domain-specific languages and why someone should be interested in them?
Yeah. I think one of the main advantages for working with domain-specific languages is that It allows us to work at the right level of abstraction. Creating software is quite complex, and we used to have a lot of concerns to reconcile. So the possibility to have tools helping to keep you focused on the current problem, I think is key to success. This is one of the main features or main advantages. The second one for me is technology independence. I think it's a strong driver in a lot of customers I have been working on. Being able to describe business models, business rules that we can reuse when technology changes is a very strong advantage for any organization wanted to play in any sector in the long term. Sometimes I describe my job as a tailor. Fashions comes and go, and every season you have different technologies, but the business rule is still there. So if you can capture that in a way, you can survive the next wave of technology. Okay, you are in the good track.
Yeah, just maybe some young developers are so focused on the importance of technology, or they see a new technology, they think this is the main element of software, but maybe it takes a while to understand that business logic is more important, more valuable.
Another advantage also is agility and quality. A lot of people these days are looking for agility, but if you are in a position, you control the DSL, you control the code generator, you can change that quite fast, and you have a reproducible process. You can repeat it with the same expected output, quality assurance, and you have agility when you are adopting a new technology or evolving a software architecture. I think something is key, and we can provide a lot of agility in customers using DSLs.
Yeah, I agree very much on this point. Also the fact that maybe you can involve more people that understand the code, because the abstraction is higher. You reduce the feedback cycle and you are more agile. Yes.
And finally, we can say another advantage could be we are raising the abstraction level with DSLs. We are reducing accidental complexity on tooling. And at the end, we are applying the Pareto's rule. We focus on making easy the 80% of the job and just make doable the other 20. I think it's these four could be the main advantages for DSLs.
Nice. So I hope this will convince someone more to try DSLs.
Yeah, we need to do it every day. Yeah, if you want to have customers working on this, I think it's a recurrent set of advantages we need to display.
Yeah, it's just that for me it's a bit frustrating that seeing how well they works and how difficult it is to convince people that are not aware of DSLs to take a look. So maybe explaining the advantages can convince them to...
Yeah, in our experience, it was much easier to combine management, because you talk about return of investment and advantages, quality, that convincing developers. In the latest year, there are a lot of, it's like a taboo word to talk about code generators. A lot of developers seems to see code generation like it's going to change the way I work. Maybe it's going to replace me. But it's not the point. It's not the point. It's just another tool that will make you as a developer more proficient. And these days we have a lot of automation efforts. So people know that if we can automate it, let's put the machine to work. We can do another thing. We are paid to use our brain, so let's put the machine to do the boring work.
Yeah, exactly. We can take out the boring part that is part of the life of every developer and focus on more interesting things. And so you already raised a very good point that management is easier to convince than developers. But about companies, do you think that DSLs work better for some kind of companies or?
Yeah, related with the benefits we talked before. A first group of companies that can benefit from DSLs, I think are companies with a long-term vision. that invest in modeling the business rules, their knowledge. Definitely, DSL requires an initial investment and a learning curve for the team that is going to adopt them. Very short projects, maybe, or proof of concepts may not be suitable to get the expected return of investment of this kind of tooling. However, I have to say the cost for tooling have been dramatically reduced in the latest years. We have better tools for parsing, for doing modeling, and for representing results also. So we can take that we already have, also open source, and use it. Another second group of companies that I see that have a lot of space for using DSLs is companies working with strict regulations and security policies because there modeling, code generators, and model interpreters cannot automate and enforce a lot of the regulatory policies. In this domain, failing a regulation compliance can be associated with strong fines or loss of trust. So I think for banks, insurance, and other kind of companies, this has a lot of sense.
Yeah, also in the medical sector.
Yes, sure.
No, it's I really agree with what you said, that the new tooling reduce the cost of developing this structure. Maybe we still miss the people that know how to use these tools, but
yeah. we still need to evangelize, no?
Yeah.
As you do with your blog, yeah.
I try.
You're in the good path.
And about these tools, what are the language workbenches that you would prefer, or would you suggest people to look into?
Okay, we have a lot of choices. Yeah, I cannot be too much objective with this question, as I myself created and maintain one of them. It's called Essential. But if you look at surrounding, we have MPS, we have Metaedit, the World Platform, or Rascal, just to cite a few. They are amazing tools. Like everything, there is no single tool for every problem, and different problems need different approaches. I think there is a space for all these kind of toolings, and I'm quite glad that we have more and more choices when creating a DSL. In general, I prefer tools that expose simple APIs and simple concepts instead of exposing too much complexity. Especially in some environments, when you get with quite complex projectional editors, I think that the user can get lost. And my bet with the DSL I create is to provide as simple as possible, just to have people focus on what they are building and avoid any other accidental complexity.
Yeah, no, I really like the JetBrains MPS, but I'm scared by the complexity, honestly, because there are too many things going on. So,
yeah.
And I'm very happy that you named a world platform. That I think it's very interesting, and should be named more.
I meet Enrico and Ricardo on code generation. I was a surprise. I think the tool is lovely. I think more people need to take a look on that, the world platform. Yeah, I think we will add the link to the script for people.
Absolutely. But can you also tell us about Essential, and when you see it more, when you see that could be the best choice? So if there is a particular kind of application or particular environment, when you say use Essential instead of the others.
Okay, I use Essential to prototype to prototype code generators. With Essential, I can quite fast model meta models, and bring them to life with models. And after that, we are applying model transformations to create a quite fast prototype of a code generator. So in that way, I can build proof of concepts for code generation for customers, and later on use that base to build full code generators. Basically, is also a tooling that you can use for learning all the basic for model driven engineering, because you can create models, meta models, and transformations, model to model and model to text.
Okay, so we will make sure to add some links, maybe to some more explanation for people to take a look. And okay, so we have talked about the tools that you like. I was also curious about people that you admire in this field, so people that we should follow.
Okay. Well, definitely, Terence Sparks is one of my favorite. The author of Antler, you already know, and String Template. I think he has contributed a lot to the field of parsing and templates for code generators. So I think we all read his books and use his software a lot.
Yeah,
On
definitely.
the other hand, sorry. On the other hand, the work of Brett Victor on what you see is what you get editors and get manipulation interfaces is amazing. In the way he helps people to understand what's going on. Clearly, the work of Brett Victor has influenced my work a lot, looking for simplicity and for DNet manipulation. Yes, to provide feedback for users directly as they type.
Oh, interesting. I will make sure to take a look because, of course, I am very familiar with Terence Parr and its amazing work. I'm using Antler a lot, but I wasn't aware about Brad Victor, you said?
Brett Victor, yeah,
Okay.
I will provide you the link. He has
Perfect.
a great website with a lot of examples, and you can spend a lot of time playing with them. Just directly playing because there are interactive web pages when you can learn about different topics. It's very nice.
I hope I will not play all the time and reduce the productivity, but and now it's now I have a question is a bit more particular, but why do you think that like the language engineering seems more well known in Northern European countries, while in South European countries somehow seems a little
Hmm,
less uh, less well
it's,
known?
it's true. Indeed, in Germany and Netherlands, for example, they are very well represented in the industry. They are creating a lot of DSLs for many applications. I think the automobile industry and aerospace are a natural market for DSL usage, and we have a lot of this kind of industry in Central Europe. On the contrary, on the academic side, I think Latin countries are quite well represented. For example, the work from Jordi Cabot, he was in Nantes before,
Absolutely.
and now in Barcelona. We have Fobeo at Toulouse. We have also different research group working in modeling and code generation, especially in modeling and DSLs in Spain and Italy, to cite a few. In any case, I still see formal methods in general has better reputation in Europe than in North America. No, Americans used to be more pragmatical for these kind of things, but this is definitely something that is changing quite fast. Look, for example, at domains like artificial intelligence, machine learning, or data science. It's full of models,
Oh, it's
and people embrace them. So.
yeah. So maybe we just need to do more evangelization in
Yeah.
companies, in traditional companies, and it's. Um, I'm happy that you named the work of Jordi Cabot, and it's. I think his blog is very important in the field.
Mm, yeah.
And, good, good. So there is hope also. Maybe we will reach the at least in the industry, because as you say, in the academic level we are in a good position. Maybe we can step up and also in the industrial field reach what they're doing in Germany.
Mhm.
And about making DSLs more well known, do you think that there is something particular that we could do to let make more people aware of DSLs?
Yeah, yeah. We can, I think, sharing results on success cases. Talk about it is a great way to explain the benefits of domain-specific languages. I usually still find people that perceive DSL as something complex, slow, and expensive, slow to build and expensive in general. Tools, as we have commented, have matured a lot in the last 20 years, and now we have technology to make DSLs in much cheaper ways. So I think explaining cost benefits analysis with real numbers to open the eyes to many customers that they are in doubt, I think this kind of things works a lot. And there are a lot of fields where we can contribute with DSLs. For example, take a look to blockchain and smart contracts, where languages like Solidity. There are a lot of news these days where small mistakes can cost you a lot of money. So we have a lot of tooling that we can help to verify that you are building the right smart contract. I think Marcus right in Medium about this.
Yeah, it's a very good example, the one with Solidity, that as I saw him, I thought, okay, someone that knows about DSLs can build something much better really easily.
Yeah, because when you see at that kind of languages with the point of view of a language engineer, you can see that maybe they build that languages quite fast, without putting too much details. And there is space for improvement.
Yeah, and then I have also the feeling that we talk about DSLs only to other language engineers. So we talk about language workbenches, but we don't talk so much about applied DSLs. You were saying could apply DSLs to blockchain or to specific problems. Maybe that would make easier for potential users of the DSLs to familiarize and to get the advantages. And but let's talk about your company now, and I'd be interested in know what kind of services do you offer, what kind of clients do you work with. I mean, if you can share it.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for giving me the space to talk about it. So I decided to create Metadev to build tooling around for creating DSLs on the web. We have developed in-house tooling based on Essential. The Essential core was created originally on .NET, but now is ported to TypeScript as the main language. This allows us to run models transpiling to JavaScript on the browser, or maybe in the cloud, or in the server side using Node.js. So with this technology, we can create tools for building software. The first one is Kit. It's a first product using this technology. I will talk later about Kit, about our first product. We provide also services for building DSLs using this technology. And moreover, at Metadev, we do consulting, mentoring, and custom software development. We help also software teams that already create software and help them with mentoring and professional services.
Okay, nice. And you have name. How you pronounce it? Your product?
In Spain is kit. It's a Spanish word, kit. But maybe in English it could be more appropriate. Maybe quid, right?
Yeah, I would have said.
Of course, in the UI, right?
Yeah.
But, maybe coming from Italy, Latin roots, the kit is the nice pronunciation for me, the direct pronunciation for me. But we can say quid here.
Quid. Yeah, I thought it was Latin.
Yes. At the end, it's Latin. Yeah.
And okay, so can you tell us the goal that you have with this project?
Quid is a first DSL we wanted to publish for creating and prototyping user interface. At the end is my main topic. It was the focus of my PhD. The goal here is to provide tools to prototype UI and especially web components. Web components is an emerging technology that browsers are incorporating. And we see that we will need tooling for composition and for authoring these web components. And I think this is an emerging market, and we can position Kit as a first tooling to do this kind of thing that we will need.
Yeah, I think it's also nice to have someone that is an expert in language engineering that provide DSLs instead of tools for building DSLs, because it's I mean it helps probably more user to understand.
I wanted to keep the focus all the time with my work in final products that people can use, not just only in meta tools. I wanted to provide the examples that what we can build with this kind of tooling, yes, to be effective, and also give you with your foot on the earth, just to double check that your tooling is complete, it scales, and robust enough to be able to do the real work.
Yeah, also because many DSLs maybe are built for a specific client, so they are closed, no one knows about that, so it's also more difficult to provide examples. Now I have one example that I can point out to people when I talk about DSLs, so it's thank you.
A pleasure.
And for this product, who do you think are the ideal users? So who will benefit more from it?
Okay, main users for Quid is designers and developers wanting to prototype user interface. Kit removes especially the syntactic delimiters as much as possible to reduce syntactic noise, and use an indentation-based language to represent the composition of the UI, of the presentation. What you get editors approach allows to see the result in real time. That's something that I wanted to provide, real-time feedback for users, making them quite productive to fix the design on the fly as fast as possible. So the point here is that the frameworks and technologies for web components are emerging, and it's not clear which one is going to be the winner. React, Angular, who knows? Vue.js. Kit allows to start working with web components today, doing code generation to different technologies right now. In a few months, Quid will focus on generating high-quality code and supporting the frameworks that have more traction, more adoption. So I think it's a way to start working with the concept today, not waiting for what's going to happen with technology, and later on warranty customers that it doesn't matter which framework is going to win. We can generate code for the winner or for the two that you are expecting. So I think one of the main advantages about we were talking before about technology independence.
Yeah. So
Because if you take a look to the model of web components, the web component is just components, properties, methods, and events. It's the same that we have 20 years ago with Visual Basic and Delphi, but now on the web.
So in a way you help companies to make their investment more safe, because no matter which technology will prevail, the effort they put in build their components will still be saved, because
Yeah, I'm a strong believer that the value is in the model. It's the main selling point. The value is in the model. The code is discardable. We can throw it away as much as we have the knowledge in the model.
Okay, good point. And well, you talked before about Essential. Maybe can you discuss if there is a relation between Essential and Quid or Quid?
Yeah, yeah, sure. We can say, as we were commenting before, Essential in some way is the father of Quid.
Okay.
Years ago, I used to work a lot on .NET with Microsoft DSL tools, creating DSLs. In such days, EMF on Eclipse started to grow as a meta model environment on the GMF and Eclipse. So I need tooling in that time. I was working a lot in .NET, and I need to create my own meta modeling library because there was no choices available to work with DSLs in .NET environments. So this was one of the the main drivers to create Essential. Essential is an environment, an EDI, and a library. You can say like a proto language workbench, if you prefer. And that's provide tooling and environment for parsing, creating models, meta models, model to text transformations. So I have used Essential as a core technology for a lot of my work. In the last year with Metadev, as commented, we transformed the Essential core in .NET to TypeScript to be able to move to the web, because I see that to be independent of traditional leaders like Visual Studio or Eclipse is a problem. When they update, you need to rewrite all your tooling to keep to keep following the environment. On the other hand, if you are on the web, you have zero installation cost for users. You can upgrade every day and do the migration faster. So I feel that the future for modeling is on the web. And I think more colleagues are also with the same focus. They look at the work of Typefox, for example, Oveo, and also Marcus Walter with Convection. They are all looking at the web as the main platform, no, for modeling tools.
Yeah.
So in that way, with the Essential Core, coming back to your question, Kit use everything from Essential models, meta models, grammar, code generation, and in this case, in Quid, we put everything on the browser, but we can move some part of the model to server side and run them with Node.js as needed.
Nice. And so you with Metadev, you have your products, but I heard that you also offer training, right? Can you?
Oh yeah. We also mentor development teams. We train people sometimes in technology. For example, in mean stack, it's MongoDB, Node.js, Express, and Angular. We sometimes provide training in C#, containers, continuous integration, TDD, or source control. For customers that want to create domain-specific languages, we build for them, and we also teach them how to extend and maintain the tooling, ranging from meta models, parsing, code generators, or interpreters also.
Okay, good. And about more consulting project, there are any kind of typical project that you work on, or?
Related to DSLs, well, we recently used Kit as the base DSLs to defining the user interface for a project in an international bank. Later on, we have used this DSL for code generation, following the architecture and the technology that this bank has already defined, their stack at the end. It's very common to use a common DSLs, more or less standard, like a subset of UML, and then adapt this code generation for specific customers. Some of them use Oracle plus Java, some others use SQL Server plus C# or Minstack. So I have a lot of experience adapting to the stack of technologies that the customer already have, to provide an accelerator for them, able to translate the models to the stack they already have standardized.
Okay, good. So you have like a core that you can reuse and quickly adapt to different clients.
Yeah. The front of the product is the DSL. It didn't change or change just very little, but the code generation side, we can change and adapt a lot depending to the target platform they are using.
Nice. Okay, now I would like to go to the end of the interview, understanding some of your vision about the future, and I will start by asking what you are working on at the moment, what you're more excited about.
Well, with the launch of Quid, it is just 1 month ago, there is a lot of roadmap of features we want to incorporate. We have received fantastic feedback from a lot of people, and this also encourages us to help to prioritize this feedback and to prioritize the features we want to incorporate into Kit in the following months. And also, we are working in a DSL tool for defining APIs and services. I work a lot with Open API, the old Swagger, and I think there's a lot of value in defining this kind of contracts. So we're working on that, and I hope we will release in the following months another DSLs targeting AP definition.
Okay, when you do, please let me know.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I
And
would love to have your feedback on it.
thank you. And finally, what do you think is missing in our community to grow and go to the next step?
Hmm. Yeah, we have commented before. I miss the old good days when people from industry and academia meet every year at Cogeneration in Cambridge, United Kingdom. I think it was very, very good place, very good venue to take a look what other was doing once per year. And it was a very good way to take the pulse to the community. I know that recently Dick van der Stom and Marcus Bolter are taking the lead and having a meeting. I think it was in
March.
Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
And also, we need to try to meet once per year in the community to have these kind of things moving on and to take a look at what others are doing. Also, as commented your blog, I think is quite valuable as a reference to introduce people to DSLs and training. Also, we have the modeling portal from Jordi Cabot also.
Yeah.
Providing a lot of information about it. So keep pushing the good work, Federico. I will happy to contribute my 2 cents also to make DSL more visible.
Thank you. I think you have contributed a lot to this community along the years, and I think you gave very interesting points for our viewers to explore the subject. And of course, we will add some videos to the presentation so they can look more in details about the work that you have done. So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you to you, Federico. It's a pleasure to talk with you today.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.